Good morning, folks. Um, Introduction too of some of the other people online. And I'd also like to mention, Deanna, that we have the new transit planner, Lisa. How do you pronounce your last name, Lisa?
Gagnon.
Gagnon, who is in the room with us. And so I would like, once we get rolling, for her to be able to share a little bit about her background and what brought her to to us. So just giving you that heads up, Deanna. But I think if you want to go ahead and start, you probably can.
So I will hop from this meeting to the next. So unfortunately, I'm not able to be with you in person. But happy fall, everyone. It's starting to feel like fall down here in Colorado Springs. My trash can got blown all the way down the street yesterday, and I had to play Marco Polo and find it. So the wind was quite intense up here. My name is Diana Rumsey. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the sitting chair of the Mobility Coordinating Committee this morning. So welcome to everyone. I will just kind of popcorn it around. I will start with the virtual folks, since those are the folks that I can most readily see on the screen. And then Melissa, if you could hop over to the in-person folks, that would be fabulous. So I will popcorn it over to Angie. Angie, would you like to introduce yourself this morning?
Hi, my name is Angie Hawkins. I'm with Roundup Fellowship.
Fantastic. Robert.
There we go. I'm Robert. You can call me Bob. I'm the fleet manager over here at Goodwill, Colorado.
Good morning. Welcome. Ronnie.
Good morning. Ronnie Gordon, Transportation Manager, Teller Senior Coalition.
Welcome. Mary.
Mary Wagner, Cripple Creek Transit.
Welcome. Good morning. Let's see who's next. Kevin.
Hello, this is Kevin Teagarden, Senior Transit Planner with Mountain Metro Transit.
Wonderful. Kristen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Amundsen. I work in business development for Goodwill of Colorado.
Good morning. Welcome. Kathy.
Kathy Lauer, Executive Director, Teller Senior Coalition.
Wonderful. Good morning and welcome. Rosa.
Good morning. This is Rosa with the City of Fountain.
Welcome. Good morning. Paul.
Good morning. This is Paul Spots, Assistive Technology Specialist at the Independent Center.
Wonderful. Good morning. Valerie.
Good morning. This is Valerie Anders with Silver Key.
Good morning and welcome. And then we have a few folks who are joining us with their phones. So I apologize, I don't see a name, but we've got one whose last two digits are 76. So if that's your phone number, if you could come off mute and introduce yourself, that would be wonderful. Oh, there we go.
Hi, good morning. This is Sagan Faulkner over at Invita.
Good morning, Sagan. Thanks for joining. Okay, and then I think we have one more friend who's visiting us on their phone. Their last four digits are 44. So if your last four digits, your last two digits, I've only had one cup of coffee, are 44, if you could come off mute and introduce yourself, that would be wonderful.
Good morning. I have Gus Garcia and Julie Corbell from Fountain Valley Senior Center Transportation.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. I believe that is everyone in the virtual space. I'm just looking one more time. Yes. So I will popcorn it over to you, Melissa, and then I'll let you kind of go around the room in the room space.
Super great. Thank you, Deanna. I'm going to start.
Aaron Smarero, Silver Key, and
um, and have us continue through our agenda. And then I think I'm going to have you jump in at 6 before we start officially talking about some things. So hopefully you caught that, Deanna. Let's go ahead and turn it back over to you for agenda approval and all that. Thank you. Thanks.
Which is the agenda approval. And so I just need a motion to approve the agenda as it currently sits. Do I have a motion to approve?
motion to
Second,
Amundsen.
City of Fountain.
Oh, sorry.
Wonderful. No, it's great. I appreciate the enthusiasm. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as it currently sits. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Any opposed? Okay, seeing nor hearing no opposition, we will approve the agenda as it currently sits. So on to number 3, consent items. Do we have this time?
This is for the minutes approval.
The if you weren't able to join us, we had lots of tasty, delicious goodies. September 24th meeting. Thank you. And do I have a second?
Kristen Amundsen, second.
Wonderful. All right. So I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the September 24th meeting as they currently sit. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? All right. Seeing nor hearing no opposition, the minutes are approved from the September 24th meeting. Fantastic. All right. Next, we go on to public comments and presentations. Okay. All right, fantastic. Great, thank you so much for that. All right. And then I am just going through, oh, I lost my agenda. Jared or Melissa, what's next on the agenda? And I'll see if I can find it.
Talking a little bit about her background and what brings her to the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments and the the transit planner role with us. Okay, go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. And again, my name is Lisa. I just moved to Colorado Springs. This is my very second day as the new transit planner. I am originally from Massachusetts, and my previous position was held at UMass Transit Services. If you're familiar with the UMass Transit, it's a transit authority at the University of Massachusetts of Amherst. It is completely student run, and I started as a student, and it was a bus driver, dispatcher, so I have very hands-on like transit experience. And then I had a supervisor position of the accessible van service. So it was ADA accessible vans that traveled throughout campus and throughout the immediate area. So I coordinated all that, talked with the university, and try to make the campus itself more ADA accessible and just bring just accessibility to the campus and build off what was already there. So this position, I think it is a hybrid of a traditional transit planner and then a mobility coordinator. So I'll be doing a little bit of both. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Does anybody have any questions, comments for Lisa before I turn it back over to Deanna?
Name.
Oh, it is Lisa Gagnon.
Thank you.
Wonderful. What's next? Okay, wonderful. So it's that time of year. I have, oh, yay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It has been a tremendous joy and pleasure to serve as the chair of this committee, and that time is coming to an end, sad to say. And we are looking for folks to step up into these roles. They are wonderful and incredibly rewarding, and you get to be part of an amazing team. Jared and Melissa and now Lisa will be absolutely invaluable in executing these roles to the fidelity of the rules and bylaws that we've created. So give some real thought and discernment to whether you want to step into an officer role. I highly recommend it. It's fun and exciting, and you get to contribute to the team and the work that's being done in a really meaningful way. So that's what I would say about that. All the particulars in terms of what those particular roles involve and the selection of those officers is kind of delineated out in this document that is being shared. And so feel free to look. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to engage and have that conversation and support you in making that decision. And that's about all I have to say. Anything else?
The last time folks will hear about us talking about the officers, and it's possible that myself and Deanna will be reaching out to folks to see about interest in people taking on the chair, vice chair, and second vice chair roles. And so again, I'll reiterate what Deanna said, to really be thinking about that. We're really excited to kind of and look forward to kind of moving things forward again for another year. And so again, please be thinking about, we need to have our chair, vice chair, and second vice chair. We've got to have the positions filled. So looking forward to the new round of leadership, and kudos and thank you to the folks that have been doing it for the last couple of years. And looking forward to the next round.
And then next on the agenda, oh, yay, there it is. Okay, So, specialized transit plan. Super exciting.
Yeah, if you want to just give an update, Kevin, for what you know, that would be really great.
Doing some revisions with the consultant on the document, and it is nearing final draft status. So we've had a couple of rounds of revisions, so I believe it's getting very close to being a final draft from our side. So I believe that's about where it's at right now.
Wonderful, thank you. So it sounds like when Jacob is able to join us, potentially we'll loop back around to this item if need be. Does that sound pretty accurate, Melissa?
Yeah, that sounds great. We can circle back to him if.
I don't believe we have any membership appointments for this meeting. So we can move on to community guest and provider presentations. Do we have any of those? Don't believe so. Okay, then we will move on to updating on the mobility coordinating program. And so Ben, this is you.
Thank you. Okay, so and I had an excursion out to Boulder about a week ago at this point, and it was really informative, the things that they had to say about their Mobility and Access Coalition, basically their analog to our MCC. So a few things. I guess the way they have things there is that they basically have a bunch of like technology ambassadors that help, train people like remotely on various software. So Uber, Lyft, Google Maps, but also like transit. So basically how to navigate their transit system digitally. And they provide free workshops for people that request it. And upon completion of these workshops, people tend to get some mobility credits. So they get like $50 vouchers from Uber or $50 vouchers from Lyft. So that was pretty cool to learn about. They also coordinate with RTD to get free credits from RTD. And I guess Dolly, could you speak more on the volunteer side of things, or?
Yeah, I think something that really stuck out to me is how smart they used their initial funding to get their program and off the ground. It seems like what they really did is to allow those funds to really go back into the pockets of the people who are going to be using the program. And so they sort of have two parts to their coin. So they do have a network of volunteers that they built where the volunteers get that incentive to participate with those credits that they get, the $50 credits that they can use towards any of the transportation options. So that included Lyft, that included Uber, the bus, everything. So what they would do is folks who volunteered to be, I think their term was ambassadors, is what they called their volunteers. So their ambassadors would go through the training and get a credit. And then their ambassadors would get set up to show like a senior or somebody who's using the services. They would walk them through the process start to finish. And that includes using Google Maps to plan their routes, and then how to use the apps if that's the way to go, and just really walk them through the process start to finish. And then their ambassadors would get another credit, another pot of funds that they could use for themselves just for that process. And then the person who wanted to use the transit services, they also have an incentive to do their classes independently. And that's again classes to learn how to use Google Maps, how to use Uber, Lyft, the public transit services. how to plan their route start to finish. And then once they finished with participating with that, they also got a credit. So it's a really nice start to finish process. So there's this just really lovely coupling system of getting people trained to use the programs and then using those people who are trained to train other people to use the programs, and they get those funds and those credits, and then they use the services. And so then the folks are educated on the process, and they're able to use any form of those services. The other thing that really stuck out to me when we were speaking with their reps was how they were able to work across counties. They were able to set up specific routes that were really important to link people to important services across the counties and coordinate that, which is just a dream that I'm sure we all have, is to be able to really, across the board, be able to offer up the services and not have those limits. So really, really good stuff.
And so I guess that brings us over to where we're at here in Colorado Springs. So, like obviously we have a few like fundamental differences as to how they operate and how we operate. So a few things that for the training, travel training program to succeed are a few things. So we're looking right now to start maybe we're thinking about speaking to the Independence Center about the issues that a lot of people do have with the difficulties of actually accessing transportation, especially for vulnerable populations. We're also maybe starting to ask about maybe like in-person workshops, at least like a pilot program, like starting off very small. So if there are any places that we could ask to commandeer for like a workshop, that would be really, that would be very helpful. There's also a few things. I think we're also reaching out to Dr. Mack and the Dallas area regional transportation transit district. They also have a very robust travel training program. They reached out to me last week. I'm trying to schedule a meeting with how they operate and how they train their volunteers, like the curriculum that they actually have in place for training their volunteers. I think that'd be very helpful to learn how they do that. Dr. Mack, they have something like they have an online app. They basically have an app that basically helps filter out all of the things that like don't really pertain to most people. So like they cater to their needs basically, depending on what they need, where they need to go. And so that kind of brings us back to us. So Laura's before she left, Laura talked about basically revamping the mobility guide. So that's also another thing that we're probably going to need to do for the travel training program, is to make sure that we have accessible information to people who are using all of our mobility services. So basically a lot of things. I'll probably send out an email to the relevant people on basically what, like a summary of basically what we're trying to do so at the travel training. So nope.
Okay, thank you, Ben and Dolly, and so glad you guys went up there and did that. I have some more summaries here to bring up to the MCC. Um, so, Ben talked about wanting to get together with some key people to gather more information, ideally from seniors, about what they need, and people with disabilities as well. I think a lot of us who've been doing this for a while, we all kind of know what the needs are. And we also know that on demand was really important as a result of knowing kind of what a lot of the needs were for people. And so that on demand program is also out there that we have to kind of circle back to at maybe another meeting. But Ben, kind of mentioned reaching out to the Independence Center. He does have a survey that he's created and is going around and spending some time surveying older adults to get their information on what they're finding, about transportation. And for those of you who also know that we do our annual AAA survey for services for the state, we're going to add a couple of questions onto that survey document for transportation as well to continue to gather more information from our clients who are using transit in our 3-county area. So my first ask for folks is if you have a place where Ben could come and interview some older adults, we would like to send him down there and do that. And I'm thinking specifically about kind of the connection cafes with Silver Key and thinking about the meals down at Fountain Valley Senior Center. But if anybody else has other thoughts or ideas, we'd like to know about that. And then kind of the bigger question to the Mobility Coordinating Committee is that we cannot create this travel training program, kind of by ourselves. And it's been an interesting transition to not have Laura as the cheerleader, kind of helping to, kind of shepherd this through. And Lisa is brand spanking new. Ben is new. It's been interesting. But what I think I've realized over the last 2 months is that we also really need an advisory committee of people to help us develop this program. And so we can kind of do it 2 different ways. We can either ask for people who are members of MCC to meet with our group separately, or we could kind of have an agenda item at the MCC every month where we're talking about kind of what's happening and get some feedback and input from people. So I would like to pause for a minute and just kind of put that out to our MCC members right now, and kind of see what people think. If people would be leaning more towards us having kind of an updating and kind of a working conversation similar to what's happening today around the mobility training program, or if there's a handful of folks that would want to meet outside of the MCC and kind of help us, kind of put this program together. So I'm going to put that out there. Comments, thoughts, questions.
So Aaron Smurro from Silver Key. Ben, let's get together. We'll talk about connection cafes in Valley if you're going to be involved in that also. Let's get together. We'll talk about potential dates you can come down, but we can do that offline. So I agree with, I guess, making it a separate item that we're talking at this meeting about. I think I would vote in that direction. I just ease of my accessibility. I'm already here. That would work great for me, but open to what others have to say also.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'm definitely interested in participating as well, potentially. I know just in surface level conversations, since we're not quite ready to get into the nitty gritty of things, there's been a lot of conversation about how we would use volunteers for the program. And my understanding is that the volunteers would come through the AAA potentially. And if that's the case, then I am also considering on maybe participating, whether it is a regular part of the agenda for this meeting or becomes its own entity that meets on a regular basis. I know my part may not be quite hands-on or I guess active just yet, but there will be a time when we're going to be discussing volunteers and how they get trained and utilized for this potential program that we're trying to put together. I don't know quite what else to say or how to start that, but just tag me in, I guess.
Thanks, Dolly. And I think the sooner you're involved, the better. So that's great. Other comments, thoughts?
I'd be interested as well as either way that we go with this. I'd like to do a committee. It'd be kind of cool to do that, though.
Thank you, Paul, from the Independent Center. That's great. Well, super. I will, Ben and Lisa and I, Dolly, will continue to work through the nuts and bolts of all of this as we really work to build out a mobility training program to be kind of these training ambassadors. I love when you guys go out and you come back with new terms, new names, and ways to define what people are doing. So, very, very cool. And we'll kind of see where that all, kind of goes. But thank you very much.
Okie dokie. If that's all, then we can circle back around to the specialized transit plan because I see that Jacob has joined us. So Jacob, just to kind of let you know, Kevin was kind enough to share with us some of the pieces, but we were waiting for you to see if you had any additional things that you wanted to share about the 2050 specialized transit plan.
Sure, I'll give you an update on that. So third review, which was a very, very short, not a whole lot of commentary review, was sent off to the consultant on Friday. It did go through two internal staff reviews prior, both with Mountain Metro Transit and PPACG. So we did two like really deep dives, and the last one was just a few little things. And then we've asked them for the next iteration of it that we get what is the ADA accessible version, so we can kind of get this through a semi-final approval. And the reason I say semi is this will go out for public comment once it has been completed. We are looking to do our public comment period on this plan along with the rest of the LRTP that PPACG is working on. So we would look to put this out there along with the regional transit plan. So looking to get as many plans out there at one time as we can. The timing is still up in the air in terms of when that will go out for public comment, but there will be a period of time where folks from this committee are able to kind of see the plans, the draft plan, and put their comments in and see if it meets what the region's looking for. Now, I do know that many of the people here on this call were a part of the plan's development. They're involved in the different stakeholder groups that were convened to look at this. So, and some of the items have been discussed here at MCSC as well. So I don't think anything in there is going to come off as a huge shock or like, hey, this doesn't make sense. I think it's been a pretty well done plan. So looking forward to the public comment period. And I wish I could give you more information on that, but we're at the whim of a lot of different items that dictate when we can put that out for public comment. So my hope is in the next few months that will be out for public comment. Hopefully by the end of the year, but I cannot say that for a fact. So, any questions?
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jacob.
Yep.
Any questions for Jacob? No? Okay. Sounds good. I'm sure there'll be questions in the future. Okay, so information sharing. So feel free to, I will ping it over to the room space and let you all start. Any information, any upcoming events or things that you would like us to know about, celebrate with you, support you in, now is the time to share. So we'll start with the folks in the room.
So Aaron Sombrero from Silver Key once again. We are hiring a director of transportation. That actually, I think it was listed yesterday on Indeed. So just look on Indeed or launch any of the other job boards. And if you're interested in applying for that position, we'd love to take a look at your resume and how you answer the questions. Thank you.
And that's probably it for the room, Deanna, because we've all talked.
Okay, sounds good. Then we will popcorn it over to the virtual space. Anyone in the virtual space have anything that they'd like to share out? Feel free to come off mute and share. Jacob, do you have your virtual hand raised?
Yeah, I figured I'd put that up. Wasn't sure if people would start toppling over each other. So yeah, I just want to put this out there. This is kind of a bittersweet comment in some ways because there's a sad element to this as well. But for those of you that have kind of paid attention over the last week Monday, we had a driver who passed out at the wheel, and That's well, yeah, that's part of the bitter part. That driver did not make it. He passed away. However, when this was all going down, we had two passengers on the bus that actually one of them hopped in the driver's seat to take it over and steered the bus to safety. So thankfully, even in a very sad moment, we found that, well, without this person intervening, it could have been a whole lot worse. The bus has started to drift across a few lanes of traffic. And the crazy thing is that happened around 8:30 or so on Monday morning along Academy and Asterzon. When watching the video, there was no traffic in front of the bus. It was not something we normally see. And when it drifted over 3 lanes, it did not make contact with anybody else. And then eventually the person that hopped in the driver's seat was able to steer it over into a cutout. So they were able to safely get the bus parked. Like I said, unfortunately, the driver did not make it. So we're kind of reeling from that right now. So it's like I said, there's a cool part of it where the passenger was able to get the bus safely parked and handle it with such great poise. If we owe a lot to this particular passenger that did not go worse. So we're very grateful for the work that they did. But it's also sad because we did lose a driver unexpectedly and in a very sad manner. So kind of the update I got here. I will throw this out there as well. So we went to the CASTA conference last, a week and a half ago now. And myself and one of our other employees, we graduated from the Lead Academy, which is a really intensive leadership program that I can't say enough about. It's a really good program. CASTA has brought this out every year. They plan to do it again next year. I want to say applications are usually the beginning part of the year, and it kicks off with the CASTA Spring Conference. So for those of you that are interested in getting more leadership activity and more training on that, and just an all-around good program, I can't say enough of it. It's only open. I think they're looking for 12 people for next year. That's the ideal number. So it is a competitive kind of process to get it included. But if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to give you information. Otherwise, you can find stuff as well on CASTA's website. So that's kind of one little bit of exciting news and a little commercial I'll put out there for them. The other thing, we received 2 awards from CASTA, one for Outstanding Coordination Initiative last winter when we helped get people moved around during the bitter freezing cold temps. So we received the Outstanding Coordination Initiative for that, and then Marketing Program of the Year as well. So we received 2 awards from CASTA that both we were excited to receive. So with that, if anybody has any questions or any thoughts, I'd be here to answer them.
Thank you for sharing that, Jacob. And I'm really sorry for your loss. That's really awful. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to support you or your team or the family of that driver. We'd be happy to.
I will say this, there is, and I don't think I can actually promote this, but I'll say it as a matter of fact, there is a GoFundMe page out there. Okay. Though unfortunately I cannot give you the name of the driver, so.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, for those of us who are interested, we'll do our due diligence and we'll investigate and see.
You can probably find out, but yeah, we've been very tight-lipped about that, just trying to give the family, for all intents and purposes, give them their privacy. But if you do a little bit of searching, you'll probably find it.
Of course.
So yeah, if you can find it, go for it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the virtual space would like to share?
Hi, this is Sagan over at Invita. I don't really have any updates at this time, but I was curious to see if there's been any update about the driver appreciation recognition that's done annually at the PPACG.
Yeah, that's a great question. That is actually our next agenda item up after our sharing. So we will absolutely share out what that's going to look like. So thank you. It's a good segue.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't have the
No,
agenda.
you're fine.
Sorry about
It's
that.
totally fine. Anyone else like to share out anything? Okay, well then, Sagan, I will take your segue into the next agenda item, which is December 3rd is our annual driver appreciation, one of my favorite events that we do. We get to honor the drivers who make all of this amazing work happen, who safely execute our duties every single day on those roads. And sometimes those roads are pretty bananas. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all of their hard work. And that is December 3rd. So I was speaking with my colleagues, and it seems that kind of the nomination process is that the individuals who oversee those drivers are able to nominate somebody that they believe is deserving of this award. And then once they nominate that person, if they could just share that information with the committee, and then we will help kind of print out those certificates. And then at the December 3rd meeting, we will provide an opportunity for those individuals to be formally recognized. The people who nominate them have an opportunity to kind of share why they nominated them. And then the nominees, of course, have the opportunity to share a few words with the committee. And it's a really great event. It's a lovely opportunity for us to really kind of give back in a meaningful way. So I will just kind of put that out there. Anything else that I'm forgetting on that aspect?
What I would ask is for folks to get those nominations to us by November 15th, please. So that gives you a couple weeks to think through it. So November 15th would be the deadline. And then just a reminder that people usually, it's a potluck here. And so everybody kind of bring a little something to share with people to eat. It has gone really well last year with having drivers pop in. So I think we should plan on doing it in person again and have food and be prepared for that.
Wonderful. All right. So then, any items for the next meeting? Anything that anybody would like to add that we should discuss for our next meeting? We're happy to kind of put those on the agenda.
Not specific to the next meeting, but just kind of a thought. So we typically do the driver appreciation December 3rd. And I'm thinking of this looking from the specialized transit plan, if that were to go out for public comment during the time that we don't typically meet. I'm wondering how to address that. Maybe it's just more of a thought in the back of our minds, but because we don't know the specific date yet, but what that could look like. So just this kind of a thought. We'll keep an eye on that so that this group has time. And I don't think it'll be a problem to, once it's out there, to send a email out to this group to take a look at it and then compile comments to send those in. But it'd be nice if we had a meeting somewhere in there to discuss it. But at the same time, we'll have to kind of see what that looks like from the timing of the public comment period. So just a thought.
Sounds good. No, I appreciate that. And yes, please let us know when public comment will be, and we will be sure to promote that and kind of loop back around and figure out what the best mechanism is to kind of gather those comments, have a deeper discussion, and then determine next steps from there. Anything else?
Yeah, hi, this is Gus from Fountain Valley Transportation. For those nominations for driver appreciation, do we just email that to the PPACG email address?
You can email it to me. I'm Melissa, and it's mmarts, M-A-R-T-S, at ppacg.org.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, if anything comes up in between now and our next gathering, please feel free to send us an email. Since our next gathering is December 3rd, I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you do Halloween and you have little trick-or-treaters, I hope that goes well and everybody stays safe on the roads and crossing the streets and all of those good things. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone, and we look forward to seeing everyone in December. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.